how long has it really been since we last had like a solid fight with Jalal? I've mentioned this a few times recently, and I still think the last time we got a legitimate battle, like actual fight with Jalal, was back when he fought the Erasion Sace in Tartarus, and that was a long time ago. A good long time ago within the story. But as it is now, he's up against a character that, even though the last two haven't been too great with Doom and Metro, I still think that with them it made sense because they were more of traditional casters and summoners. So, when you really like look at the consistency of how they are in this series, it made sense of why they were, once they actually were in position to get hit, that they couldn't take a lot of damage. And then like Wolfen was like a weird exception. Well, not an exception. His was just like a very situational scenario where he knew he was dangerous, so he came out. But as of now, we have Jalal going up against Gears. I know there's stuff going on with all the other characters, like Brandish is back and stuff, and he wants to make Godjill into a giant kaiju to fight Alderaan. But I'm really hoping the next two chapters are very heavily Jalal focused and pretty much just on Jalal. Because like I said, Jalal hasn't gotten anything in a long time. And I really want to just like get some time of seeing him like participate in this fight. But within it, I'm expecting Gears to reveal that like, oh, besides the Godseed Alderaan, I'm the strongest Godseed kind of like situation. I mean that's not one of those things I just kind of can see. And when it comes to him versus the other Godseeds, to me it just seems like he's gonna obviously be the strongest besides the Alderaan one. I mean, like, because the other ones like are mostly team fights where he's 1v1ing Jalal, where Jalal like regardless of like when you like look at certain characters like dragons and stuff and lots of like really high end big guys, Jalal is still absurdly powerful. He's still like upper Spriggan level at the very least. We don't know if he's gotten a lot stronger over the last year. Very likely he has. And on top of all that, since the last arc, like back when stuff was going on in Alvarez and he was trying to get up to save the world and stuff, he's at that point he was still a criminal. He still was wanted for a lot of his crimes, and we know that after the events of the Alvarez war, that he got cleared. He got cleared of a lot of his crimes. He's still out doing stuff. He's still out trying to, in his mind, atone for his sins. But he's at this point gotten somewhere that I'm hoping we'll see a similar situation to, I don't like how Gray is with Julia and how he's like, this is, Gray pretty much has already acknowledged that, like, once he feels strong enough that he'll be able to protect Julia, then he's gonna officially be with her. He's gonna actually, like, fulfill Julia's dreams of actually getting to be with Gray. And anybody who's paid attention to the series for more than 5 seconds knows that both Jalal and Urza clearly still have feelings for each other, and the only issue right now that's really keeping them apart is Jalal doesn't think that he's deserving of her, and he's still kind of like trying to atone for all the stuff he did. So, something like along the lines of maybe just getting like some look into his thoughts of like him thinking about like, it's just like a TLDR of like, oh yeah, like all these events that I caused and whatnot, and everything I've done. Maybe we'll finally get him kind of like trying to forgive himself, because that's the only person left that really hasn't forgiven, or Joel hasn't forgiven. He's the only one that seems to really kind of like still really hanging on the stuff that happened with the Tower of Heaven and everything, and what happened to Simon and whatnot. After that point, I think that he'll, I think that him as a character will really just kind of round out, and we'll be able to actually like see him be happy and finally like continue his life, actually kind of like live it as an individual instead of just like this guy on this mission of trying to atone for all these wrongful doings that he had. On top of all that, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gears' ability does. Like, it obviously very strange, and so far we've had very weird abilities from the Godseeds, except Metro. Metro's was super straightforward. He just summons these mass giant golems that, are hard to deal against. And I guess, like, the absorption ability, like, it absorb water-based abilities, too. I mean, that's relatively it, but it's still impressive when you saw, like, when you're really going to compare, like, what his mass golems were still pretty capable of. But Whatever weird ability it has, I'm expecting Jalal to kind of like formulate a plan over, show some of his spells. I've got my fingers crossed very highly on a new True Heavenly Body spell, because the only one that we've seen from him is Sema, and we know from like Irene that there are ones above that. Like we saw Deuce Sema, clearly a much more powerful version of Sema, and I'd like some more. I actually would. The thing that would probably make me hype the most, in a super basic way, is if he uses Sema, it doesn't work. Like Gears maybe uses an ability on it and deals with it, and then Jalal has to pull out like a newer, like bigger spell, some crazy new True Heavenly Body spell. Maybe he's like, oh, I've been working on this for the last year, trying to get it all set up, and we get some really sick, badass new space spell. I think that'd be fantastic to see. Maybe like some like Quasar stuff, or doing something with like Stardust, or something just really like that would just be really fun to see on top of it. But in the fight itself, I see at the end of it him having maybe some form of like revelation, or like some big thought kind of like situation that will really set him up for chapter 60, and probably where he'll end up kind of like winning the fight is my guess. I don't think it'll be next chapter. I think it'll be in chapter 60 for Jalal. But I've got my hopes up for this fight, because like Doom, even though Doom's ability was good, I don't think anybody can discount, like, Doom definitely had, at least from what we've seen so far, the best ability out of the God Seeds. Like, Metro's is good, but obviously it wasn't, like, it's nothing to really brag about. I mean, it's got, like, pretty good, like, straight, like, yeah, mass spam. Clearly, guys are big, brutish, and durable. Wolfen's is extremely situational. It all depends on, like, who he uses it on. We don't know anything, obviously, about Gears or the Alderaan Godseed, but what we do know is like Doom's was just really good. And then Metro's is very strange. I'm really looking forward to seeing his. Just in the application of it looks interesting already, with like the weird gear magic like design that's on Jalal's outfit. But anyway, other than that, yeah, just I'm really hyped. I can't wait to see like what Jalal is going to be like bringing to the table. Like, what are we going to see? Like, what has he been up to in the last year? I'm really hoping. I think the biggest thing for me, at least, is just Jalal to like have like a moment where he like acknowledges within the last year, because it's been a year since the whole Alvarez war, and I imagine there's still been stuff for him to do when it comes to like dark guilds and dangerous people. But obviously, until the White Witch spawned, I doubt there was anything major going on where it was like a huge thing for him. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Either way, though, I'm really hoping he has like a part where he just remembers and kind of reflects, and maybe he's like, maybe I have done enough. Maybe I am like actually capable of being happy now. I would like that a lot. I think he deserves it. Obviously, like what he did was bad back in the Tower of Heaven and stuff, but I think he deserves at this point, after years all he's done, because at this point it's been almost a decade of him just like taking down dark guilds and doing all this independent justice to take down like evil people and whatnot. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below. Thumbs up the video button, the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.